All right, welcome. I'm going to show you how to make a pot on the wheel. So I have 2 pounds of clay that I've wedged up very nicely, and I'm about to begin. First, you take your ball of clay and you slap it down right in the middle of your wheel head. And then you take your fist and just give it a little bop to make sure it sticks on. Then when you're centering the clay, you want to make sure that your speed is fairly fast and your clay is very wet for centering. So the first step after putting your clay down is centering. And with centering, you take your hands, you press down on the clay to get it really well stuck to the wheel head, and then you move your hands to the side. Now the goal of centering is to get the clay completely even on the wheel, and you do that by pressing your hands on and coning the clay upward, and then you're going to lower the clay down. And I'll show you how to do all of that again in a minute. So the first motion, coning up, you want to have your hand on the clay and your elbow completely locked up against your body. So right here, my elbow is touching my hip right here. Some people like to do it like this. I prefer it like this. Okay? So this hand right here is locked in. This is actually called the mold. You hold your hand like this, and then you push in, and that actually causes the clay to raise up. And then you can use your other hand across to help squeeze and raise it up. Okay? Then, to push downward, you need some pressure on top of the clay. I like to take my left hand and cup it over, and then use my right hand to support it, and then bring it down. Clean my wheel head every once in a while to see where the clay is. Re-wet it, cone up, and then flatten out. And then you know that your clay is completely centered if you look at it and there's no inconsistencies or wobbles. So this clay is now centered. Now when you see that, that's the same shape, but this is not centered. This is off-center. And you can see there's a beat and some rhythm going on. So in order to get that recentered, you just use your left hand, your mold like that, and support this. Now I just want to tell you there are a lot of different ways to center your clay, and you might find a different technique that works for you. That's great. Alright, so after your clay is centered now, you need to make a hole in the middle, and you put your thumb slowly down on the side like this. Now if at this point it's very uncentered in the middle, you want to go back and repeat the centering process. Put a little water in the hole, and then continue bringing your thumbs downward, making the hole until you get close to the bottom. And you can check that depth with a pin tool if you want to. So right now you have just a very thick lump of clay with a hole in it. The next step after this, and this is what a lot of people forget, is to widen your bottom. So you're going to take your fingers and flatten out the bottom. And then use your sponge to compress. Now what this is like, this is a donut basically on a flat bottom. So now you want to raise your walls, and you raise your walls by putting equal pressure inside and outside and pulling your hands up. For the beginning potter, I like to start with the right hand on the outside and the left hand on the inside, and then squeezing up against your palm and then raising your hands upward for your first pull. Now after each pull, you want to get the water out of the bottom, smooth your rim, and then clean up the outside. And then you need to use your water again. So now I'm going to put equal pressure on the inside, but rather than using my whole palm on the outside, I'm going to do this. Can you see that? It's almost like making a fist, but I'm wrapping my finger around my thumb and pushing that up against the clay, and this is going this way. And then together I'm squeezing, and each time the wheel spins around, I'm pulling my hands upward. And when I get to the top, I'm going to slowly take my hands off. And then remember, each time you want to smooth your rim. Use your sponge to get the water out of the bottom. And then to clean up the outside. And then I'll repeat this again. Left hand on the inside, right hand using that knuckle like that. Here you go. And then I'm slowly putting pressure inside and out, and each time the wheel spins around, I'm pulling my hands up a little bit higher. And then when I get to the top, I'm smoothing my rim, getting the water out of the bottom, and cleaning up the outside. So now my walls are straight up and down with a flat bottom. That is a cylinder. That's what is the basis for making mugs, pitchers, flower pots, any kind of jars. You want this shape. In my last and final pull now, I'm going to do some shaping. So what I want to do is have a rounded body, and I do that by doing the same hand position, but now I'm going to start pushing out from the inside. I'm catching it from the outside, but you can see I'm rounding the form. And then at the very end, at the top, I'm going to switch my hand position a little bit, and now I'm going to flare out my rim. And then let me get the water out of the bottom. Smooth my rim. Clean up the bottom like that. And that's my little vase. Now what I'm going to do is clean up the bottom. I'm taking this wooden rib with the point and going pointy side in and just cleaning a little bevel out of the bottom, taking the excess clay out. And then I could cut under with a wire tool. When you're done making your pot, you want to cut under it. So you'll need a cut-off wire like this. You want to put the sticks on the outside of your hands and then wrap it around your fingertips, kind of like dental floss, and put your thumbs on top of the wire. And that will give you good support. Make sure the sticks stay on the outside. When you spin it around, you want to spin it at a medium to slow speed. And you're going to put the wire down on the wheel head and pull towards you and pull harder with your right hand. And that will come under just like that. And then another thing, this is advanced wire cutting. You can splash a little water on, and then you can also pull the water through, and then that will help you to get your pot off the wheel easier. And then you can put it on your shelf.